divine revelation awaits. The sacred silence of 3 days will manifest miracles from August 29th to 31st. In a quaint rural town, nestled among rolling hills, Mary felt the weight of the world collapse upon her. As a devoted churchgoer, a faithful parishioner humbly treading the path of belief, she had always held on to the belief that miracles were just prayers waiting to be whispered. Yet, the trials of life began to dilute her faith. David's job dwindled. Their eldest child wrestled with persistent sickness. How much longer could she cling to hope? Then came the stunning word from Pastor Matthew, his voice, steady and soothing, unfolding a call to divine intervention. A sacred silence to invoke the miraculous. From August 29th to 31st, the air crackled with reverence, and Mary sensed something stirring within her soul. But when David shrugged, skepticism painting his features, the warmth in her heart dimmed. "Mary, don't hold on to fairy tales," David cautioned, wading through the everyday struggles. Each harsh word pricked like thorns, but prayer filled the open spaces. As the 3 days approached, Mary's longing to unite her heart with the townsfolk built stronger and stronger, a rhythm of hope rising amidst the tension in her home. Then calamity struck. On a sun-drenched afternoon, Ethan fell ill, his laughter replaced by whimpers, his joy dimmed to a breathless hush. In the hospital, the doctor's words resonated like thunder, echoing in her mind. Critical condition. Deflated, Mary stumbled away, heart torn asunder, desperation clawing at her insides. She remembered the chapel, a sanctuary dedicated to their patron saint, a beacon of hope in despair's grasp. Pushing open the heavy doors, she sank to the cool floor beneath the soaring arches, the musty smell mingling with whispers of prayer. "O Saint, grant me a miracle," she begged, her voice a soft plea lost among the shadows. As the chimes of the chapel bells announced the sacred 3 days, Mary felt a flicker of anticipation fluttering in her heart. She stood on the edge of prayerful expectation. Would the townspeople invoke a divine revelation? The scent of incense filled the air with sweetness, mingling with the hushed whispers of faith rising up to the heavens. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. Mary knelt, tears painting pathways down her cheeks, heaviness battling with unshakable hope. She felt the weight of the congregation's expectation like a network tethering her spirit to the divine. The hours stretched into days, uncertainty creeping in, while David wrestled, the tension a taut string pulled between belief and disbelief. On the afternoon of the final day, hope flickered. A woman from the neighborhood fluttered in, breathless, recounting her own miraculous healing. With each word, Mary's heart soared and trembled, the atmosphere charged with electricity as others listened, faces lit up with wonder. "Divine revelations do happen," the woman exclaimed, her voice ringing through the chapel. Mary felt the air thicken, anticipation crackling around her like fireworks waiting to burst into life. Then, an unexpected hush fell. Everyone held their breath, eyes widening, hearts beating as one. Would Ethan's cries for mercy be answered? As peace settled in the chapel, she clung to the promise of the miraculous, yearning for the emergence of hope amidst despair as shadows. The air was thick with expectation. Would this be the moment everything changed? As the afternoon light danced through the stained glass, casting colorful patterns across the floor, Mary felt a warmth envelop her. The prayers that surrounded her, contagious and fervent, ignited her faith in a way she'd never experienced before. With every whispered hope, every tear shed, the air thickened, transformed into palpable hope, a divine essence wrapping around the chapel's heart. David sat a few rows back, arms crossed, his expression a mix of concern and disbelief. Yet, even he couldn't ignore the shift in the atmosphere. The murmurs of faith sparkled like stars flickering to life. Perhaps, just perhaps, he could bend his heart toward belief, if only for a moment. "Do you feel it?" a fellow parishioner whispered to the woman beside her. "Something incredible is about to happen." The words echoed like a drumbeat in Mary's ears. Her heart raced as she caught sight of Pastor Matthew ascending the pulpit, his presence calm, yet charged with purpose. "Believers," he began, his voice reverberating through the chapel. "Tonight, we gather not just to pray, but to receive the healing, the miracles our hearts have longed for. Each word poured like honey, gentle yet powerful." Mary closed her eyes, clutching her rosary tightly, and breathed in the words, letting them wash over her spirit, as if preparing her for the journey ahead. All at once, the chapel felt alive, the congregation's heartbeat merged into a symphony of faith. Mary could almost see the light swirling among them, illuminating hidden corners of despair, reminding each soul present of the abundant grace awaiting them. The whispers grew louder, engulfing the sanctuary, a collective heartbeat reaching out to the heavens. Then, unexpectedly, the silence broke like a wave crashing against the shore. Ethan's name was called, resonating in that sacred space. A doctor's voice rang clear through Mary's mind. "We're moving him to a recovery room." Each syllable unspooled hope from the deepest parts of her being. The promise of release imbued the air. Was it possible that the miracle they sought was already on the horizon? Mary barely noticed David slipping closer, unacknowledged yet undeniably drawn. She turned to him, her heart alive with fervor. "David, it's happening. Can you feel it?" The soft glow in her eyes mirrored a flame reignited. As if shaken awake, David leaned in closer. "I don't know, Mary," he murmured, his voice barely above a whisper. But the way his hand found hers spoke of a silent willingness, a hesitant step toward faith. That evening, as night draped its velvet cloak across the sky, they joined the congregation again. Mary prayed quietly, her fingers entwined with David's, their minds together reaching for divine unity. The chapel glowed with flickering candlelight, the flames offering a vision of sanctity and warmth. Each figure around them shimmered in the light, transformed by collective fervor. Suddenly, a rustle echoed near the altar. It was the miraculous woman. Standing tall, she proclaimed, "I have been healed. My pain is gone." The entire congregation erupted into applause, their cheers blending into a single outpouring of gratitude. Mary felt a rush of exhilaration. Could it be that she, too, was about to witness the miraculous? With hearts racing and breaths held in anticipation, the chapel exhaled hope into the stillness. As the evening drew near its close, a warmth pulsed around them, like a gentle embrace from the divine. But would it be enough? Would Ethan's cries turn into laughter once more? As Mary glanced toward the altar, she felt the tide of divine intervention rising, ready to sweep through their lives. However, the air shifted again, hinting at the mysterious nature of the night ahead. What awaited them in the shadows of prayer? Would the miracle they desperately sought unfold before their eyes? Or was the real miracle yet to be revealed? As silence blanketed the chapel, every heartbeat seemed to echo with expectation. Mary's breath caught as she looked around. Eyes were wide, faces aglow with hope and fervor, each person wrapped in their own desires, dreams, and fears. She felt the intensity of the moment, almost like a tangible thread connecting each one. Was it possible that they were all part of something so much larger? David's hand tightened around hers, the warmth spreading between them like a gentle flame. "What now?" he whispered, his eyes darting nervously from one face to another. "Now we wait," Mary whispered back, her spirit soaring. In her heart, she believed that waiting was not an idle act, but a sacred space where miracles could manifest. It was a lesson she had learned through her trials, the gentle reminder that patience was entwined with faith. The light flickering from the candles danced across the walls, creating a tapestry of shadows. Pastor Matthew stood with his hands raised, a figure of peace amidst the holy chaos, as he encouraged the congregation to join him in heartfelt prayer. Let us lift our voices, let us believe together. His words ignited a chorus, a beautiful blend of yearning and hope, rising to the heavens. Mary closed her eyes and let the melody wash over her. Each prayer was a step towards the divine. She felt the presence of God surround her. She couldn't help but think of Ethan, praying for his recovery to be as miraculous as the stories they had heard tonight. What if God was already moving, already answering? Suddenly, the melodious crescendo transformed into a hushed reverence. The room felt charged, a pregnant pause hanging thickly in the air. Mary opened her eyes, heartbeat quickening. A wave of energy pulsed through the chapel, examining each soul in attendance. Could it be? Was something imminent? Look, a voice rang out, breaking the stillness. All heads turned toward the altar where a radiant glow began to seep into the shadows. The congregation gasped collectively, holding their breath in awe. There, in the soft, luminous light, Pastor Matthew stood tall, his expression one of wonder and resolve. "Friends," he called, voice steady, "the Spirit is moving. The time has come for breakthroughs." Mary felt her heart leap. Was this the moment? The hum of expectancy thickened the air, and in that moment, the chapel felt like a cocoon of divine grace, each soul folded into the other as hopes and prayers. As the glow intensified, Mary noticed tears flowing freely down some cheeks, tears of joy, gratitude, and unyielding faith. She couldn't help but reflect on how each story intertwined, how every prayer challenged the mundane. Could their newfound belief be the key to unlocking once closed doors? David took a step closer to her, eyes wide as he silently absorbed the energy around them. This is different," he stammered. The flicker of belief started to light up in his expression, softening the lines of doubt etched across his brow. Just then, Pastor Matthew raised both hands high. "In this space, let's invite all the miracles we seek. Healing for the broken, hope for the hopeless." The bodies around them shifted, whispers of devotion merging into one robust chorus that engulfed the chapel. Waves of healing energy reverberated throughout the room, each prayer seemingly lifting Ethan's spirit closer to the heart of God. Mary's whole being resonated with expectancy. In the stillness of the evening, she could almost see the prayers intertwining like a cherished tapestry, the picture of healing brightly woven through their collective faith. Yet even as an undeniable power surged forth, a faint whisper lingered in her heart. Was their journey merely beginning? If this night was indeed an awakening, what lay ahead when the answers manifested? Would they find not only healing, but a deeper understanding of faith? The divine mystery hung tantalizingly close. Pulsating through the air, was the real miracle on the brink, or was it already beginning to unfold in ways they hadn't yet imagined? A hush fell over the chapel, a sacred stillness that enveloped the congregation like a warm embrace. In the glow of flickering candles, the atmosphere felt electric. Every heart carried the weight of belief. Mary sensed a shift, a pivot in the air that held the promise of transformation. Pastor Matthew's voice broke through the silence, imbued with a quiet authority and the power of conviction. Let us now enter a time of reflection and silence. With each breath, invite the presence of the Holy Spirit into our hearts. Mary exchanged a glance with David. His eyes sparkled with wonder, a reflection of her own stirred spirit. "This feels profound," he whispered softly. "Yes," she replied, feeling the gentle tug of hope blooming within. "It's a moment to listen, to truly listen." As the congregation bowed their heads, an almost palpable wave of tranquility washed over them. The noise of the world faded away, leaving only the heartbeat of divine possibility. Mary closed her eyes once more, surrendering herself to the air thick with prayers and intentions. The sacred silence deepened, saturating the chapel in a veil of reverence. Each inhalation felt like an invitation, each exhalation a release of burdens. As minutes slipped by, something deep within Mary stirred. She envisioned Ethan, his face illuminated by joy and health, vibrant and alive. With unwavering trust, she poured her heart into her prayers, offering them like fragrant incense toward the heavens. Suddenly, a gentle stirring erupted in the atmosphere, stirring the very depths of her soul. Mary's breath quickened, as an undeniable presence permeated the space. It was as if the walls themselves were alive, vibrating with a divine energy. "Have faith," she whispered, her spirit urging her. Every prayer is a seed sown in fertile ground. In that extraordinary serenity, the silence felt almost deafening. Yet, amidst the quiet, she felt an awakening, a gentle whisper coiling around her heart. Prepare for the miracle. You will see it manifest. The congregation remained deeply engrossed in prayer, unaware of the dialogue unfolding in Mary's spirit. She sensed that something monumental was building. A divine revelation awaited them all, a revelation that might reshape their lives in ways they could scarcely fathom. Then, from the front, a faint rustling broke the quietude. Mary opened her eyes just in time to see an array of colors shimmering across the altar, as if a sunlight danced in spirit form. A collective gasp rose again from the congregation. The warmth of anticipation swelled, wrapping around each person like a loving embrace. "Look," David breathed, his face a mixture of awe and hope. Pastor Matthew raised his head, glancing toward the altar. God's glory is revealing itself to us, right here, right now. His voice affirmed the atmosphere's tremor, igniting faith anew within each heart. With every passing moment, the light pulsated, radiating vibrant hues that seemed to transcend human comprehension. It was mesmerizing. How wondrous it felt to witness this event, to know that the heavens were converging with the earth, bathing them in divine promise. Miracles are ready to emerge, Pastor Matthew declared, his zeal electrifying the air. Tears cascaded down Mary's cheeks as she surrendered completely to joy and gratitude. She knew in her heart that they were positioned at the edge of something astounding. Yet, with the thrill of expectation came a sobering realization. Was it simply for them? Or did God have a grander narrative reaching beyond this gathering? The questions surged through her mind like a torrent. Would love and healing ripple outward from this moment, touching many lives? What profound mysteries lay in store as they opened their hearts to divine grace? Tomorrow would bring new possibilities. But for now, in the serene hush of the chapel, they prepared to witness the unfolding of miracles. As the light danced, a thought flitted through Mary's spirit. Did they fully understand the power of collective faith? With that lingering question, she felt the evening deepen into something truly marvelous and sacred. What revelations awaited them in that divine embrace? The journey was just beginning. As the last echoes of Pastor Matthew's proclamation lingered in the air, the congregation remained suspended in the moment, hearts beating like drums in sync with the sacred atmosphere. The flickering candlelight painted a scene both serene and vibrant, coaxing life into the stillness. Mary could sense every soul around her, each person a vibrant thread in the grand tapestry of faith, woven together by anticipation. Let us, now more than ever, open ourselves to God's grace. Pastor Matthew's voice rang out again, this time softer, more intimate. In this holy moment, we embrace the unknown, for faith flourishes in the fertile ground of uncertainty. Feeling the warmth of David's hand beside her, Mary tightened her grip. It was a small comfort, a connection that reminded her of their shared journey of faith. Together, they were here, poised on the edge of a revelation. But she knew deep down that this was not just about them. It was about everyone, a community awakening to something extraordinary. The light on the altar flickered even brighter, illuminating the room like the first rays of dawn breaking through the darkest night. Mary's breath caught as she felt her spirit lifting, buoyed by hope and prayer. The sanctuary seemed to pulse with life, as if the very fabric of reality was being woven anew. Each heartbeat echoed the promise of miracles yet to come. "Let flow, Lord," a voice chimed softly from the back. It was Lucy, the older woman known for her unwavering faith. Her words rolled through the congregation like a warm wave, inviting every heart to join in. With her eyes closed, Mary allowed herself to fully surrender to the moment. She heard whispers of prayers around her, the sound weaving together like a harmonized choir, each note rising to touch the heavens. It painted a beautiful picture in her mind, every voice contributing to a tapestry of devotion. What if this moment leads to something beyond our imaginations? David's voice broke through her reverie. What if we are part of a larger plan? His words sparked a fire in her spirit. Yes, this was bigger than them. It was about healing, hope, and the transformation of lives, perhaps even lives they had yet to meet. The thought urged her to pray even more fervently, her heart ablaze with passion. Suddenly, the shimmering light emanating from the altar shifted, swirling into shapes and figures, each hue a message woven from the divine. It was entrancing, like watching a painting come alive in glorious color. Tears of joy rolled down Mary's cheeks as she witnessed this manifestation, a glimpse into the promise that God had for them. Divine revelation awaits. Pastor Matthew exclaimed, his voice resonant with authority. Let us attune our hearts to the whispers of the Spirit, for tomorrow and the days to follow will bring us poignantly closer to our God, a God who loves us deeply and desires to reveal his glory. As this declaration reverberated through the chapel, Mary felt a stirring deep within her soul. What awaited them beyond this worship? What miracles would unfold in the sacred silence stretching ahead? This moment ignited a sense of urgency, a cry to prepare their hearts and minds for an outpouring of God's goodness. Will you journey with us? She felt the plea rising within her. With every flicker of light, she saw faces bright with expectancy. Each person was no longer a mere spectator, but a beacon of collective faith, poised to witness the divine. And as the clock ticked closer to the dawn of tomorrow, a knowing settled in Mary's spirit. They would stand together, united in hope, and what God would reveal could change everything. Her heart raced with the excitement of the unknown. All it required was for them to trust in the unfolding. Would they be ready to embrace the paths that awaited them? As their prayer sessions swelled with fervor, the chapel radiated warmth, love, and the promise of miracles. Something extraordinary was about to happen. What wonders would rise from this sacred silence over the next 3 days? The journey was set, and the Spirit beckoned them to dive deeper. Would they heed the call? As the candlelight flickered like gentle whispers of the divine, an anticipation hung heavy in the air. The congregation, still vibrant with the moment's energy, began to breathe deeply, each inhale infused with faith and expectation. Mary felt a thrill course through her, a divine current connecting her to those around her. They were in this together, bound by a unifying purpose, a commitment to what lay ahead. With her eyes still closed, Mary envisioned the altar enveloped in light. The swirling hues returned, dancing before her mind's eye. Each shade seemed to carry a promise, an echo of the hope blossoming within her heart. She could almost hear the silent gasp of wonder from those around her as they beheld the brilliance. It was as if the veil between the sacred and the mundane had thinned, allowing the holy to spill into their reality. Can you feel it? David's voice grazed her senses, warm and eager. The Spirit is moving among us. Nodding slightly, she felt a rush of peace wash over her. These sentiments were palpable, drifting through the room and settling like a weight of glory on each person. They held on to their prayers tightly, each one woven with dreams and desires, big and small. Pastor Matthew moved among the pews, his voice steady but soft. Friends, we must cultivate patience in this sacred silence. Within it lies the key to our growth. Several murmurs of agreement rippled through the crowd. The collective acknowledgement brought a sense of unity, an assurance that they were not alone in their journey. Every heart beat with a rhythm of divine connectivity, a sacred pulse binding them closer. Mary S.'s eyes fluttered open, drawing her gaze to the flickering altar. What was God preparing? She reflected on Lucy S.'s words, on her unwavering faith that had inspired so many. What did it mean to allow the Spirit to flow freely? It was a big ask, allowing their individual lives to intertwine with the larger narrative God was composing. Suddenly, the room grew still. A hush fell over them, as if the very air held its breath in expectation. Pastor Matthew paused, sensing the shift, his expression one of deep reverence. God is speaking now, he said, voice urgent yet tender. To listen requires stillness. To be open demands courage. A silent gasp rippled through the congregation as they leaned in, hearts synchronized with his powerful call. Mary felt her pulse quicken. This moment vibrated with a divine urgency. What truths were waiting to be unveiled? Let's take a moment. The pastor continued to be still and know. In that silence, time stretched thin. Each second seemed rich with meaning, greeting them with something beyond words. Mary S.'s thoughts wandered, considering the potential's healing, reconciliation, perhaps an answer to a prayer long held. Hope bloomed fiercely, surprising her. She could imagine lives changed, barriers broken, love released into families, friendships, and community. Yes, they were on the precipice of something major, standing at the threshold of transformation. As if in response to their collective yearning, the shimmering lights rippled once more. A promise beckoned. Has it begun? She wondered as her spirit soared. Would they all witness the miracles promised, the gifts of divine love? In this space of sacred silence, the congregation became a tapestry woven not solely with prayers, but with dreams laced in faith and hope, each thread brilliant and essential. And as they sat in this expectant quiet, a slow awareness dawned upon Mary. The true test of faith often followed the greatest moments of stillness. They were called to surrender to the unfolding, to trust what lay ahead. Suddenly, an unexpected thought rushed through her. What if the revelations awaiting them were not merely external gifts, but a deeper unveiling of their own hearts? How could they prepare for the divine surprises God had stored for them? The silence thickened, wrapping them all in a cosmic embrace. Would they emerge from this silence, transformed and renewed? The journey had only just begun. The weight of anticipation lingered in the atmosphere, each heart beating in sync as if orchestrated by a heavenly conductor. Mary felt the stillness pressing gently against her soul, a beckoning that stirred her deeper sense of awareness. It was more than silence. It was a sacred invitation to engage with the divine. Moments stretched like the arms of a divine embrace. The flickering candlelight danced with an almost palpable energy, caressing the faces in the congregation. They looked drawn together by a celestial thread. Mary S.'s heart fluttered at the thought, what if this stillness led to revelation, a moment where heaven touched earth? As she breathed in the sanctity of the gathering, a soft whisper fluttered through her mind, courage. Would she have the bravery to open her heart fully, to face what truths might be revealed within those quiet chambers? Cracking the stillness, Pastor Matthew spoke again, his voice rising like an ascending hymn. Dear friends, it has been written, be still and know that I am God. Let this silence wash over you, cleansing your fears and preparing your spirits to receive. The words washed over Mary like revitalizing rain. With each breath, she felt an awakening, a stirring that resonated deep within her. Waves of hope bubbled up from the well of her spirit. Was this the moment they had been waiting for? Would each soul present be offered a glimpse beyond the veil, a touch of the sacred love that permeated the universe? Let your hearts connect, David urged softly, his eyes vibrant with faith. Feel the unity among us. Hands reached out instinctively, intertwining as friends and strangers formed lines of connection, a physical manifestation of their spiritual kinship. Mary grasped David's hand, feeling warmth radiate between them like electrical sparks of divine friendship. It was a reminder that they were not alone. God was with them, weaving their stories together in a tapestry more magnificent than they could imagine. The air grew thick, charged with possibilities. Each second was a sacred heartbeat echoing truth. Healing, hope, and renewal loomed just beyond what they could see. Mary recalled Lucy's words about faith, the way it could shift mountains, mend hearts, and free souls. What unseen barriers could crumble under this intentional unity? Then came a breathless moment as the pastor raised his hands. His countenance revealed a mixture of expectancy and reverence. This silence is not just an absence of sound. It is a space for the sacred to plant seeds in our hearts. Mary felt a thrill coursing through her, a pulse of divine energy. She closed her eyes and centered her thoughts. Lord, reveal to me what I need to learn. Open my heart to receive. Prepare me to be a vessel of your love. As she prayed silently, the flickering lights transformed into beams of color, cascading down like gentle rain upon the flesh of their gathering. Gasps erupted from those around her, witnesses to a touching from God, a reminder that his presence was undeniable. Unexpected tears brimmed in her eyes, tears of recognition that anything was possible. Miracles did not always come in grand displays. Sometimes they were quiet, like whispers of love wrapping around weary souls. Would this moment ignite the transformation they sought? In the depths of that silence, amidst the radiant colors illuminating their space, Mary pondered a profound question. What if, in their collective stillness, new paths to joy were being carved? As she pondered this, a thought struck her sharply, a yearning for something deeper. Could it be that the most significant revelation awaiting them was not external, but rather the intimacy of understanding themselves in the light of Goddess love? This sacred silence bore the potential for deep connections and revelations. Each heart held secrets and burdens, waiting to be unwrapped in grace. The air thickened with possibility. What wonders awaited them on this journey toward divine revelation? The atmosphere pulsed with energy, a divine interaction brewing in the hearts of those gathered. Mary felt a gentle tugging, a call to step deeper into this sacred moment. She had been longing for clarity, for a sign, a whisper from the Almighty that would guide her weary spirit. As the colors danced around her, she opened her eyes and looked at the faces of those beside her. Each one held a story, a heartfelt yearning for connection and understanding. Their expressions wavered between joy and trepidation, mirroring her own internal struggle. Let us be fully present, Pastor Matthew encouraged, his voice resonating like a drumbeat, steady and powerful. Let this sacred silence cultivate a garden in our souls, where God's love can blossom. Mary focused on her breathing. She surrendered her doubts, releasing them into the divine current that surrounded them. With each exhale, she felt lighter, as though she was shedding layers of burdens that had long weighed her down. The trust began to weave itself around her spirit, knitting a warmth that radiated outward. God sees you, David whispered, glancing at her with profound sincerity. He knows your heart. We're all in this together. His words broke like dawn, illuminating the shadows of uncertainty that clung to her thoughts. Others joined in affirmation, murmurs of hope rising like fragrant incense. Yes, God is here. He is with us. Mary felt a swell of emotion in the collective faith. It was a wave of unity, a reminder that individually they might struggle, but together they thrived. The vulnerable faith they shared created a sacred bond, filled with trust and assurance. Then, as if ordained, silence reclaimed its hold. In that precious space, Mary heard it, the faint echo of her own heartbeat, blending harmoniously with those around her. It was as if time stood still, a holy pause where eternity brushed against the temporal. As she surrendered herself entirely, Images flashed in her mind, arms outstretched in worship, prayers soaring into the heavens, longing faces ready to receive God's grace. Hope felt tangible, like dew upon petals in the early morning sun. Everything was aligning. In that profound quiet, she narrowed her focus, and a sudden vision gripped her heart, bound in chains, slowly unlocking. It was not just her heart being transformed. She saw everyone around her, each bond of fear and doubt fraying, revealing the beauty of souls craving freedom. "Lord, guide us," she murmured, caught in this breathtaking revelation. "Help us release our chains and walk boldly in your light." As the pastor began to pray aloud, his words formed a bridge that connected the heavens to the earth, inviting the presence of angels among them. The cadence of his voice wrapped around Mary, filling her with a sense of wonder and purpose. "May we become vessels of your peace and love. May healing flow through us, not just to us." She felt the longing within the group shift to fervent anticipation. A surge of faith coursed through her veins. Could it be that they were meant to carry this light into the world beyond the walls that enclosed them? As the congregation united in prayer, Mary felt the boundaries of her heart expand. The shadows of disillusionment began to disperse, and she held on to the thought, what if their gathered hearts somehow set forth ripples of divine love that would change lives far beyond their own? And while Mary knew the answers were unfathomable, she felt the question rising within her. What divine surprises awaited them as they dove deeper into this journey? Would they become beacons of hope in each other's lives? In this divine moment, the sacred silence beckoned them ever closer away from fear toward faith. What awaited them in the unfurling days ahead? A hush settled over the room, thick with expectancy. Mary could sense a shift, an unseen current drawing them deeper into communion. It was as if a celestial door had cracked open, revealing a glimpse of the divine. Each participant seemed to lean in, no longer merely a face in the crowd, but a vital part of a tapestry woven by faith. Pastor Matthew's voice resumed, softer now, laced with the reverence of the moment. "Let us be still, but let us also eagerly anticipate the movements of God. In stillness, we can hear him clearly." Mary closed her eyes once more, letting the words enfold her like a gentle embrace. Her spirit brimmed with a sweet, bubbling enthusiasm. She could no longer ignore the flame igniting within her heart. "Lord, what is it you want us to know?" she thought, her brow furrowed in devotion. "What are you revealing to each of us in this hallowed hour?" Her heart expanded with the longing for understanding, for clarity, and for the revelations to be shared. As she pondered, a flicker of light caught her attention. It danced at the edge of her vision, unpredictable yet beckoning. She opened her eyes and followed its movement, astonished to see the light reflect off the faces of her fellow congregants, each face a canvas painted with hope and a desire for connection. David was lost in prayer, his face lifted with radiance. Beside him, Sarah clutched her hands, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Mary's own heart raced, thrumming in time with the pulse of the room, each heartbeat an invitation to awaken. "The promise of togetherness is a miracle in itself," she whispered as the revelation settled deeper into her soul. They were not just individuals seeking solace. Together, they were a symphony of faith, a collective instrument tuned to the glory of the Almighty. In that sacred interval, Pastor Matthew gestured for everyone to join hands. A human chain formed, weaving them closer together. As their fingers interlocked, a rush of warmth washed over Mary, as if she could feel the heartbeat of the group echoing, affirming their commitment to each other and to God. On this holy journey, the pastor continued, we need to trust that every prayer offered and every heart open will be cultivated into something life-changing. This is just the beginning. Each day leading to our assembly of hope can be a miracle in itself. Mary's spirit soared even higher, a divine buoyancy lifting her above the weight of her worries. She felt an urgency, a whisper from within urging her to step out of the sanctuary and into a world ready for change. What if they carried this light into their homes, workplaces, and communities? A vision painted itself in her mind. Streets alive with joyful gatherings, hearts meeting in prayer, and lives transformed with love. What divine arrangements lay ahead? She wondered aloud, her voice trembling with excitement. As if in reply, a soft breeze wafted through the gathering, sending waves of goosebumps across their skin, and hushed whispers of amen echoed softly as they surrendered to the unfolding mystery. The pastor closed his eyes. God is moving among us, even now, preparing our hearts for the blessings that await. We must be ready to receive. In that moment, the energy shifted once more, brimming with anticipation as the group swayed. Mary felt an electric thrill dance along her spine. What awaited them in the remaining days? What extraordinary divine surprises lurked just beyond the horizon of their faith? What awaited their hearts as they ventured boldly into the unknown? The dawn broke gently over the quaint rural town, bathing it in a soft golden glow. Mary awoke with a heart full of hope, her spirit still resonating with the echoes of the past 3 days. The sacred silence had lifted burdens, ignited flames of belief, and intertwined lives in a tapestry of collective faith. As she prepared for the final gathering at the chapel, gratitude spilled over in her heart. This journey had pushed her beyond fear, closer to the divine. David, now standing beside her with a look of quiet determination, gently squeezed her hand. "I can feel the change, Mary. There is something profound in the air today." His words were filled with a newfound openness, and it filled Mary with joy. They had navigated doubt together, and now hope bloomed like flowers bursting through the cracks of concrete. At the chapel, the atmosphere vibrated with the anticipation of miracles. The congregation gathered, their faces bright with expectation, hearts aligned. Pastor Matthew ascended the pulpit, his presence commanding yet comforting. As he began to speak, a hush fell across the room, reverence cascading like a gentle wave. "Today, we stand not just to witness miracles, but to become them," he proclaimed, his voice resonating with divine assurance. "We have come together in prayer and silence, and now we turn that devotion into action, into faith that moves us to love and serve." Mary felt a stirring as Pastor Matthew's words washed over her. She envisioned all those gathered, transformed by this experience, ready to carry lessons beyond the chapel doors. A chorus of amens rose from the congregation, reverberating with belief. As the service continued, the atmosphere became electric, a palpable energy weaving between souls. The stories of healing shared throughout the last days ignited fervor, and Mary lifted her gaze toward the stained glass windows, each vibrant hue reflecting the miraculous light that warmed her heart. It was a reminder of the beauty in unity, how they had come together through trials, each person a witness to God's grace. Suddenly, a voice broke through, radiant with excitement. "Mary, David." It was Lucy, her eyes sparkling like the morning sun. "Ethan woke up. He is asking for you." The words fell like rain, saturating the air with pure joy. Previous days lingered in their hearts, reminding them to dwell in patience and presence. At the chapel, Pastor Matthew led a new service, celebrating not just healing but community. "Together, we shall share what we've learned. For this is a journey meant for all, one that propels us toward the divine," he affirmed, his message echoing like a sacred song across the walls. Mary smiled, knowing they would carry the momentum of these revelations forward. They were entrusted with a mission, a call to be vessels of light in a world calling out for hope. As Ethan played joyfully with neighborhood children outside, Mary took a moment, her heart bursting with gratitude. She felt the divine presence surrounding them, the fabric of their lives entwined in love. "Lord," she whispered, her spirit soaring, "may we never forget the power of faith, the beauty of healing, and the joy of connection. Let us be your hands and feet in this world. With all that had unfolded, she knew this was just the beginning of their journey, a path paved with faith, love, and the promise of miracles yet to come. And as the congregation embraced the day, they all carried within them a spark that would ignite countless lives. Now more than ever, their hearts beat as one, illuminating the world in ways only God could orchestrate. The journey of faith echoed loud, and clear miracles awaited those who believed. Now, dear friends, this is your moment to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. You need to subscribe now. It matters in our faith community. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and spread the light. Comment your reactions and testimonies about this ending, for your words are powerful. And share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of faith. Don't wait even one more second to share. Only true servants of God understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions. Let's ignite a world of hope together.